Hey guys, so today I would like to share with you a program which I started using recently this year. In fact, it's a reasonably new piece of software that has solved a problem that I've had with using Linux as my primary operating system ever since I began using it, and that's the problem of finding a good piece of screencast software. Now there are quite a lot that quote-unquote do the job. The one that most operating systems are including with them now is Kazam, and that's quite good, but there's a real big problem with Kazam is that if you record a video that's too long, the memory fills up and your system starts becoming incredibly unusable. It's very bad for doing things like Let's Plays or extended videos, but it's not too bad at doing short 5 or 10 minute videos that don't take up a lot of space, so short screencasts. However, for anything longer, there does seem to be a gap in the market, as it were, for Fraps, but for Linux. So the idea of having not only a screencast software, but screencast software that can record things like games. And even though there isn't a direct Fraps for Linux, there are some projects I know that are working on it. This is one of them. But as it currently stands, this is by far the best bet. Now, what I mean by this program here, which is called SimpleScreenRecorder, which is a name that puts itself down anyway, but is that if you open it up, as you got here, and this is the opening screen for it. You can find out more on the website, which you can see here by clicking on the link there, and I'll also include a link down in the description, is that you can record the entire screen, a fixed rectangle, follow the cursor, or record OpenGL experimental. So this program is working on getting OpenGL up and running, and I can't wait to see that day. At the moment, it doesn't quite work for me, and part of that is because it does take a lot of time to tweak it and work it out and all this kind of stuff. And I hope in future editions of the program they'll actually be able to make it a lot more user friendly. So I probably could be able to get OpenGL recording in the way that they want there, in the way that's recommended there, but I can't. So I tend to record a fixed rectangle here, and I do that for games as well. And because this computer is quite powerful, it's powerful enough to be able to take the CPU processing hit and so forth. It doesn't present too much of a problem, which means, so I've had no real incentive to work out how to record just OpenGL things. But as it currently stands, this can record programs, the desktop. It can also record games. It can record games quite well, although you do have to, even if you're not going to use the OpenGL functionality, which, like it says there, is experimental, you can, by setting a few key parameters, get it to record games quite well if you have a semi-decent PC. And this was top of the range when I got it about 3 years ago now, and I've updated it slowly but surely ever since then. So it's sort of the high range, but it's certainly not the top range PC that I'm using here now. But if you record using the MP4's H.264 codec along with uncompressed audio recording, then you can record things pretty using pretty small amounts of CPU. Now, when I do record games using on Linux, I record my sound separately using the Tascam device, which I believe I've showed to you guys before. Basically, it's a sound recorder, much more high quality than that, and it works separate from the computer altogether. And then I layer the two up in post-processing. So that is the settings that I use for getting the most bang for your buck when it comes to recording games, and I also use that for recording screencasts because the settings are one and the same. And because once you reprocess it using uncompressed audio and uncompressed and a very low rate of compression on the video, you can recompress later on down the line, and it gives you lots of different, gives you shortcut keys, hotkeys, things like that. And this is really the only program available for Linux that comes anywhere close to being what we need for a Fraps on Linux. It's very, very good. My only problem, or worry with it rather, is that it's not currently part of the Ubuntu repository list, which I hope it does become soon, because it's really filling a void in the so-called Linux application market. And I would love to see that, and I do hope that this is a continued project, because this is something that Linux sorely needs. And yeah, my concern is that this is a lot, for me at least, in terms of me doing a lot of videos as I do on YouTube, a lot hangs in the balance of this piece of software working out. Because if this goes under, that means I'm going to have to go back to Windows for recording a lot more things that I would otherwise record in Linux. So guys, if you do happen to use Linux, then definitely check out this piece of software. Even though it's not part of the Ubuntu repositories, I'm of course running Linux Mint here, and it works just fine with no tweaking whatsoever. I just followed the download instructions, which you can see here. And it's as simple as just copying and pasting that into the terminal, which is one of the things that I absolutely love about Linux, is that you don't have to, when you have instructions on how to fix a problem or how to do something, you don't have to do click here, click there, and then include a whole bunch of screenshots. You just have to copy and paste something into a terminal, which works pretty damn well. So guys, that's about it from here, from me. But please, definitely, if you're a Linux user, check out this piece of software. It's my primary recording software now on Linux, and I don't know what I'd do without it. I'd probably have to revert back to Windows. But the number of things that Linux can do better than Windows is growing at a rate of knots now, especially considering Steam is now available cross-platform, and once Steam OS gets off the ground, that'll pretty much mean that my Windows partition will therefore become redundant. So once I've got a decent bit of recording software to go, I can pretty much give up Windows for good, because at the moment I dual boot. I've got two 1 terabyte drives, one for Windows, one for Linux, and I use Linux 3 out of every 4 days, so it's definitely the predominant operating system that I'm using. But I would love to get rid of Windows completely, especially considering that Windows 8, gotta say, not a fan. And Windows is a company across the board when it comes to the Xbox One, which has got pretty terrible reviews from what I've seen. Its phones are laughable, and the only thing that's really that Microsoft's holding on to now at the moment is its operating system, and it's going to lose a massive chunk when SteamOS comes out, because anyone that has a gaming PC that's only used for gaming will presumably switch to SteamOS, because Linux does process games better when games are designed for Linux better. I've found Linux to be much more stable and much more efficient with lower end hardware, and also the customizability is going to be absolutely fantastic, and Linux can pretty much fill in the gaps. And Linux, of course, allows you to set up an operating system as you wish. I've still got the old Windows 95 style bar at the bottom of my screen, because they worked out what worked over 10 years ago. So you know, why mess? Well, over 15 years ago, coming up to almost 20. So yeah, they worked it out. They've done it. But Linux, of course, keeps updated with all the various niceties that we've come to expect from modern-day computer operating systems. Anyway, guys, so that's just something that I wanted to let you know about, and I guess a little rant against Microsoft. So that's about it from me today. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Take care now.